Time to round up another big story from the week, and we're talking the pay gap this hour. Texas has made the list of another national study. The picture is far from flattering, though. The left-leaning Center for American Progress has published a new study ranking women's well-being in each of the 50 states. Factoring in 36 different criteria, the study ranks Texas the 6th worst state for women's opportunities. Last week, Republican Greg Abbot said he would not sign a bill making it easier for women to sue their employers over pay discrimination. This is an issue that has plagued Abbott's campaign for weeks now, and his Democratic rival is making the most of it since she pushed a Lilly Ledbetter-like bill in the last legislative session. Is it enough, though, to help lift her campaign in the fall? That's our topic this half hour. And as always, we love hearing from you. You can share your thoughts on our Fox 26 Facebook page, or you can send me a tweet at Sally Mack, Fox 26. We'll be reading some of those. In our newsroom is our legal analyst, Chris Tridico, news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and in the middle there, we have our public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. All right, so what do you guys think about this?
Well, to answer your direct question, I don't think that this single issue is enough for Wendy Davis to win the race on. But what Wendy Davis is looking for is not a single issue to knock Greg Abbott down, but a series of issues to slowly eke away at his base. Jackie Bally, Wendy Davis sponsored this bill. Governor Perry vetoed the bill. And she really forced this issue out into the air because she wanted to force Greg Abbott to say, as he did, I would veto it too.
Sure. This is part of the political posturing of the two candidates who are going at it for governor. The point is that for the last 10 years, women in Texas have overwhelmingly voted Republican. And Greg Abbott is going to have that trend continue, even more so, because he's always been a favorite of a lot of the female voters in Texas. So to answer Sally's question and to echo what you're saying, I don't think this particular issue is enough to sway female voters, but I do think that this is something that Senator Davis is trying to get a couple of female voters in her direction or to go in her direction with this type of rhetoric.
It is the type of thing that a lot of women are going to pay attention to, especially with studies coming out saying that Texas ranks at the very bottom in the nation with opportunities for women.
And if you look at women of color, they make literally half of what their counterpart men do. So it's a significant issue, and it's not just fluff. I mean, she's presented a bill in the Texas legislature long before she's ever, was running for governor. She's been fighting for this for women. Women make up 53–54% of the electorate, and naturally, women will look at this because it's not just about this bill. It's about how the Republican Party treats minorities, women, young people, and that's the base that's leaving the Republican Party in droves because their policies are just not in line with where we are today in America.
Now, if my colleague thinks that Wendy Davis was not running for governor back 1 or 2 sessions ago, you were definitely misleading because, or have been misled because she was running for office back when she proposed that legislation. She was running for office when she was talking about abortion. And the reason why the governor vetoed it is because there's a federal legislation that was brought up in 2009, and what she proposed in Texas was almost the exact same thing. And we already have a federal legislation covering these.
But we don't like the federal government in Texas. I want to get back to that in a minute. I got to go to Sally right now. Hang on just a second, Mustafa.
We asked on our social media page, about this and pointed out that the opponent, Wendy Davis, has been accusing Abbott of unfairly paying his female lawyers less than the male lawyers. And so we asked our viewers, what they think about this. Ben says Abbott has already explained the pay discrepancies. Even the White House pays women less than men.
Very true.
Well, and that was actually the topic we were going to, is that Greg Abbott, when you look at his own house that he's been in charge of for 11 years, and nobody's accusing him of this. This has been proven now that the women in his place are making less.
Well, look, I'm going to defend Greg Abbott, right? Because in essence,
because he's a great guy and the next governor.
I think people believe so, but that may not be true. The reason why I'm defending it is because this is across the board. That's why you need the law. Because no matter which organization you look at, for the most part, there's a disparity between men and women in terms of pay, and it's significant for especially women of color. And we need that type of legislation to do it. Now, if Greg Abbott, for political reasons to keep his Republican base, refuses to vote on something that's equity and is publicly saying that he would have vetoed it himself, that's a political issue.
I think that Ben is absolutely correct. The general has already explained the men who are in his office and who are making more have way more experience in many years. You usually pay people based on what they bring academically, how many years they've been in the workforce, and we do know that men have been in certain positions a lot longer than women have been. We are now getting into certain areas, certain sectors, and we're now catching up to our male counterparts.
That is the attitude that's keeping women behind, because this is the kind of dialogue that happens, that just because you're new, you shouldn't be paid the same. When women of color are paid half of what men are paid.
You should not be paid the same that somebody who has 20 years experience. That's ridiculous.
But aggregately, there's lots of women that are paid
We're going to have to leave it right there. I'm going to have to cut them off. They won't stop talking, Sally. I don't know what else to do.
Once again, the gloves coming out between Jackie and Mustafa. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you in our last half hour.